Now at 10, a bill that would ban some foreign entities from owning land in Utah. Why the sponsor says this bill is necessary to keep our country safe. Plus,
oh, it was horrible. It broke my heart. I feel like one of my pets had died.
A homeowner in Mill Creek with a mystery on her hands. She says trees were cut down from her yard without her permission, and she has no idea who's responsible. And as we celebrate our 75th anniversary, we're finding lots of historic pictures and film about the history of television. Craig Worth takes us back in time in tonight's Worth Watching.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News celebrates 75 years.
Welcome to ABC4 News at 10 o'clock. I'm Emily Flores.
And I'm Glenn Mills. Thanks so much for joining us. At least 3 people are dead, many others injured, in a shooting on the Michigan State University campus tonight.
Yes, police still looking for a suspect. Seen here, police say shots were fired at 2 locations on campus. They believe there's only one suspect who they say ran from the scene. The victims taken to a local hospital, the campus placed on lockdown, and the entire city of East Lansing was told to shelter in place for a time tonight. Now, Michigan State Police tweeting that all campus activities are being canceled for 48 hours, asking people to avoid campus, especially tomorrow.
Moving out of weather, taking a look at an incredible sunset out at Farmington Bay this evening, taken by the one and only Chief Meteorologist Lana Brophy. She was actually out there doing live weather and looking for birds and all kinds of stuff out at Farmington Bay. But that is just an amazing sight right there.
Hello, you're good at telling the weather and taking photos.
Oh, you're really nice. I was looking for trouble. Come on, Glenn, tell the truth, right?
And it always finds you, too.
It does. It really does. But that was a pretty one out there tonight. And we had a bunch of shutterbugs also sending in some great photos that I get to show you tonight. The sun officially set at 6 p.m. on the dot. And this is the only perk of the inversion. And I don't even like to call it a perk, but with all of those dust particles in the air, we do get that pop of color. Meg Roberts catching this one, which you can actually see the layer of haze at the bottom of the screen. Thank you, Meg. Air quality right now moderate for most locations along the Wasatch Front. We have been building with the haze for several days. Unhealthy air for sensitive groups in Duchesne and Uinta County right now. Another good shot here. Don Can catching this one from Sandy. It was the layer of colors for me. Gosh, it was really, really pretty out there tonight. High temperatures made it into the mid 40s, slightly above average for Salt Lake. 20s in Logan, 40s in Provo, 30s in Moab, and close to 60 degrees down there in St. George. But we are ready for some changes, and that's exactly what we're going to get as we head into the evening and overnight. Cold front approaching and moving through. We definitely have cloud cover out there. Exiting storm to the southeast, and now our next storm getting a good grip on the region, and it is going to bring some love for Valentine's Day in the way of moisture, as well as wind and some cold air. This is what we expect in the way of travel, road slush and road snow with this storm system. We're tracking the timing, how much snow we're going to get, and who's going to be dealing with what coming up in my full forecast in just a few moments. Glenn, Emily, over to you.
Lana, thank you. Preventing potentially dangerous foreign organizations from owning land here in Utah. That's what one state representative says she's trying to do. ABC4's Courtney Johns live in studio tonight to explain. Courtney.
Yeah, Glenn, Representative Candace Perucci says this would prevent restricted foreign entities listed on the National Defense Authorization List from purchasing land. And that's a list that the U.S. Secretary of Defense reviews every year. Perucci says this includes China and some of their restricted military companies that are used to make purchases. The second piece addresses restricted foreign entities that currently own land. Now, if this bill passes, those entities would be required to sell their land. And if that land was not sold within 5 years, it would go back to the state. Perucci says she wants to be clear this is not targeting private citizens who are Chinese. She is strictly targeting the Chinese government. She says there are countless examples of the Chinese government trying to spy on the U.S. by targeting states. She adds while Congress gets national security briefings regularly on what's at stake, leaders on the local level get virtually nothing.
China has definitely recognized that and made efforts to target states individually. And it's quite frankly, it can be a very effective approach.
Perucci says she's been working on this bill since May of last year. And at the time, some people asked her if this was really necessary. But then people started paying attention after a Chinese company purchased land in North Dakota just miles from an Air Force base. Now, this bill passed unanimously out of the House Government Operations Committee, and Perucci says she hopes that the bill will make it to the Senate sometime next week. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Courtney. Well, Roy High School sanctioned over derogatory comments and barking made during a basketball game. Weber School District concluded its investigation this evening, finding violations from the basketball game against Hunter High School last month. Now, people at games are not allowed to make animal noises or chants meant to bait or embarrass others. They also moved the student section and hired more staff to monitor the crowds. The school district saying they sincerely apologize to Hunter High and any other communities that have been impacted by these actions. Coming up, the U.S. working to recover multiple unidentified objects that fighter jets recently shot down over U.S. and Canadian airspace. We'll have more from Washington.
And as we celebrate our 75th anniversary, we're finding lots of historic pictures and film about the history of television. Craig Worth takes us back in time. It's tonight's Worth Watching.
Plus, fire in our skies. Gorgeous shot from Tooele thanks to that ABC4 viewer. Chris Williams caught this in South Jordan. The video showing the cloud cover moving in ahead of our next storm. We're tracking that storm and the impacts in Utah's most accurate forecast.